Hello, welcome to another instalment of the Matchbook Racing Review with me, Tom Stanley, and Don McLean, who is the other side of the screen. You'll see him shortly. We've got a lot to get through this week. So, Don, I'm simply going to skip the pleasantries and just get stuck into the racing because we've had the Qipco 1000 and 2000 Guineas. We had two very different runnings of said race. Can I get your take, first of all, Don, on what you made of the running of the Qipco 2000 Guineas, where they split into almost three groups?
Yeah, like it's not satisfactory, Tom, when that happens. You're always left with the what if, and you kind of go, is there a possibility that the horses they raced on the near side had an advantage? And of course, there's a possibility that they did, but I still think Magna Grecia was a very good winner. He had the form on the board going into the race. He was the Vertem Futurity Stakes winner from last year. We're getting good at that one now.
I love, by the way, Aidan O'Brien still calls it the Racing Post Trophy.
Wow, why wouldn't you? I would still call the Whitbread the Whitbread.
I love it.
Yeah, look, I thought he did it very well. And, Scardu obviously ran a hell of a race to finish third, win the race on the far side along with Mad Moon. And, it'll be good when they clash again. And hopefully they will, with see Mad Moon and Magna Grecia. And maybe Scardu against each other again. And King of Change ran a hell of a race as well to finish second. So, look, I think Magna Grecia is a worthy Guineas winner, and of course, we don't know if he'd raced with the main group how he would have fared. But at the same time, it wasn't a shock result. It wasn't a surprising result. He's a horse who you could easily see. Of course, he was nearly favoured for the. He was favoured for the race before Ryan Moore rode 10 Sovereigns. So I think he's a worthy Guineas winner, and I think he'd probably prove to be the best of them anyway in time. What do you think?
I would echo that. So 3 points to make about it. I think, as William Haggis said to me afterwards on Racing TV, he felt probably that horse may well have won wherever he was in the field. He was still a good value winner for all it looked visually unsatisfactory. I don't think there was any track bias at all. I think it was purely SDS on Shine So Bright went faster, and in particular made a key move into and out of the dip or mainly into it, and then kept that going out of it to really draw that three-runner field a good few lengths ahead. And that really was race over as far as the groups went. So I think it was the pace they went that meant they were benefited from where they were. I don't think there was a benefit to racing on that side as far as the best part of the track went. And I think that were Magna Grecia to take on any of these anywhere else, he would probably beat them again. But we shouldn't forget the horses that weren't there, in particular Too Darn Hot. And I think that's the one we all want to see. Now, he may well go up in trip and be campaigned as an Investec Derby horse. I'm not so sure. But I think there'd be a lot of us, Don, out there that would love to see a Too Darn Hot against Magna Grecia. But I'm not crabbing the winner in any way. It just, visually it was a little bit unsatisfactory. But I'm not sure what they do going forward, because even with the cutaway with that amount of runners, I think they'd still split into two groups. There is talk of them having the stands against a rail, which may well stop that obvious split, actually having it one side or the other. And I wonder if that's what we'll see going forward.
Yeah, I think, didn't they have that? I think when Cockney Rebel won it, they raced near side. And that's not satisfactory either, because if you've got 19 horses all on the near rail, you want them to come down the middle, ideally, don't you?
But you can't make them do it. That's the thing. So at least if you have them up against one rail or the other, plans can be formulated, as opposed to it being a case of they're in the middle. You see what takes you to what rail. I think on a field that size, when the stalls are in the middle like that, they're going to split. Conversely, when you've got a 15-runner field, even those four fewer, and the pace, as it seemed to be in the Guineas in the 1000 Guineas, with Hermosa drawn more towards the middle, she decided that her closest path was down the centre, where officially, remember, going stick-wise, it was the quickest ground. So she led them down the middle. It meant we got one lovely group, which made it feel a bit nicer all in all watching it, didn't it?
It did, yeah. No, it was. Look, she did really well to win it. She liked it, I was kind of thinking she'd be better over further, while she does have, she had form last year over 7 furlongs and obviously over a mile with her Odessa. She is bred to get further than the Guineas trip, and they rode her aggressively like that. Like, in fairness to Wayne Lorden, again, he's won another 1,000 guineas on a filly that wasn't the first string, and he gave her a lovely ride in front. You know, it didn't go too fast. He set the fractions to suit his own filly, but in doing that, he went a nice pace for everybody. So I thought it was a fair race for everybody. As you say, they stayed in the one group, and Lady Kaya ran an unbelievable race, didn't she, for Sheila Lavery?
Yeah, it's difficult when you're on your own like that. She ran an absolute cracker. And
for a filly whose stamina was unproven over a mile, like, she kept on really well. And again, Robbie Colgan got the fractions on her exactly spot on. And as you said, she had to do her own running, and Robbie Colgan had to judge his own fractions on the near side. She ran a massive race. It was a brilliant run for her.
But I think there's something about it which tells us just how well Wayne Lorden did, and Robbie Colgan as well, that actually those two were almost first and second, albeit on slightly different sides, ever so slightly throughout, whereas very little got into it. But I thought, in a way, it seems silly to say there were more obvious hard luck stories from the 1,000 than the 2,000, because, of course, you had lots of hard luck stories from the 2,000 because they split. But because they came in one group, I thought it was almost easier to assess that the hard luck in behind, if anything, was a bit shorter room. I thought Quibala she wouldn't have won. She'd have finished closer, I think. There was a key moment where David Egan went to make his move, and a quicker filly in the form of Fairyland just came across her. That was just how it worked out. And that really stopped her run ever so slightly. She had to pull out. She flew down the wide outside. And I thought, Just Wonderful, not only did she have to wait for a run, and also come from way back, which it was difficult to do, she ran around a bit. She looked a bit almost green and ungainly, which I was surprised about, given she's handled the track before. But I think she probably wants just a touch further, to be honest. I'm not saying she's an Oaks filly, and I'm not sure that she would reverse form by any stretch with Hermosa, who is a lovely proposition for the Oaks, and quite rightly went to the fore of that betting, ran about 6.0. But I don't know. I think I just think she's a filly, Just Wonderful. I'd almost be less disappointed than the visual impression she gave.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, I thought she ran on very well. Like you, I didn't think she handled the dip, actually, but she had handled it before. So maybe, I don't know, on the ground at that pace, she just didn't seem to be completely happy going down into it. And Quibala, yeah, fully agree with that. Like, I think she came together with Mojus, didn't she? And at that point, and kind of just lost her balance a wee bit before running on really strongly. I think she would have been. She's only beaten just over a length in the end. She would have been closer. So, like, she was favoured for the Guinea. She's a filly to keep pace with, or to keep on side. And speaking of the Oaks, there were other Oaks trials as such, weren't there?
Yeah. Now, a quick question at you: which filly would you rather back for the Oaks? Because you got a couple of points bigger around about Maxad, who won the Pretty Polly, who was really impressive. Would you rather back Hermosa or Maxad for the Oaks as things stand at the moment?
I don't know.
I would say Hermosa is most likely to turn up. I don't think Maxad is guaranteed to turn up.
Yeah, that seems to be. I mean, you were chatting to William Haggis, I'm sure, off air as well as on air. And even after she won her maiden at Newmarket back at the Craven meeting, which I thought she did really well to win that day, probably racing on, at that meeting, there seemed to be an advantage to be to the near side, and she wasn't. She battled on really well that day, and obviously Saturday's performance was a step forward on that. But yeah, even after her maiden, he was kind of talking about Prix de Diane, maybe.
He was
French
talking about
Guineas. He mentioned as well, didn't he?
Well, exactly. So she's got three key French entries. She's got the Pouliche, not the I always get those muddled up. Let's call it the French 1,000 guineas. Yeah. She's got the Prix Saint Hilary, which is the key de Diane trial, the French Oaks trial, and the French Oaks entry. And he was banging that drum after last time, but of course he's now stepped her up to 10, and she's won Easy As You Like, and he's gone, will she get a mile and a half? Now there is plenty of stamina on that dam side, loads of it. She's a daughter of Siuni. I think there's every chance she will get a mile and a half, and off the back of that, there's every chance they'll try her. But she did show a lot of speed. The one thing that makes it really difficult, she won so easily, it's really hard to get a gauge on what stamina reserve she had. Jim Crowley quite rightly asked her a question, which she answered, but she was quickening really the whole way. So I think it's really difficult. And sometimes we see good speed performances. We see horses accelerating away from a field and go, oh, well, they got a lot of speed. If you're going to win an Oaks, you can't be slow.
You need speed, yeah. And if she has that pace over 10 furlongs, then that's an asset going to 12 furlongs. And then it's what is stamina? I mean, I know we don't get into that, but it's an ability to see out a trip. So it's a mixture of speed and stamina to the strength to be able to get there, but also the pace to be able to keep your position, and especially at Epsom, as you know, you need pace at Epsom over any trip.
Well, horses have won a Derby or Australia, the most recent one I can think of, who, to my mind, was at his best over 10, but he won a Derby. You've got to be quick to win. And yes, you've got to stay, but I would, as John Gosden would say, roll those dice. I would roll the big dice with Maxad in an Oaks. I'd love to see her in it, and I think it's going to depend on what comes out in the next few weeks, whether Connections have got anything else, in particular Sheikh Hamdan, whether he's got anything else for the race.
And Sheikh Hamdan, obviously there's precedent here, because Tagruda was Sheikh Hamdan's filly who won the Pretty Polly a few years ago and then went on to win the Oaks. I know she's a different type of filly, but you could, like Maxad, she's bursting with class, isn't she? Even on her maiden win, and then that performance on Saturday was very, very good.
Yeah, I'd love to see him do it. I'm not convinced they will. Just some of those comments afterwards. The fact there's doubt there, I'm not certain they will. Personally, I hope they do. Just to tie up the some more of the flat chat, I wanted to mention Threat, who was the son of Footsteps in the Sand, who won for Richard Hannon. He beat a horse of Saib bin Sarour's ridden by Ryan Moore, who had experience. He's a big lad, and he is going to be better over 6 furlongs. Richard Hannon and the team, they've got a great record in the Coventry. He said immediately afterwards, "You're going to ask me if he's a Coventry horse?" And the answer is yes. I wish all interviews were that easy, but the answer is yes.
He knows the question and the answer. Perfect. Yeah, unbelievable.
And I was really taken with him. Now, one caveat to that is Tom Marquand couldn't get on him in the paddock, and he's clearly a bit flighty, and that, a place like Royal Ascot, you can't get away with that. I don't know if we'll see him again. There's every chance we will. I'd be inclined to think they might want to try him again, just on the basis of that. But he's the most exciting 2-year-old I've seen in the last few weeks. I know I've been jumping at Punchestown as well, but I was quite taken with him. What other flat performances have you got for us, Don? Because I know you were at the Curry yesterday. Yeah,
look, it was a great day at the Curry yesterday. The unveiling of the new facilities, the new stand, and it's impressive. There was a lovely feel to the day when you walked in. It was just the really nice atmosphere. I know it was the opening day of the season day, not the Irish Guineas or the Irish Derby, but it was just a really nice feel. The grandstand is very, very impressive. It's been, the Curragh hasn't needed this for a long, long time. It's nearly 20 years, or maybe over 20 years, since the Aga Khan bought the stand house and gave them the opportunity to go and develop it. Now it's done, it's finished. I know it was good. Like there are teething problems, reported. I was obviously working for the day, so I wasn't in and about and around the bars and stuff. And there were maybe queues at bars and stuff. But
I'd be worried, Don, if you were coming back complaining about not being able to get a drink after shift
I couldn't get a drink.
Unbelievable.
I was waiting 20 minutes for a drink. Yeah. So yeah, look, they were reported, and we heard about them, but at the same, like, they're, you would hope that they're little teething problems that can be very easily sorted. So, but on the whole, on a macro level, it's great, and it's there, and it worked yesterday, and it's a case of refining it. And they'll always be refining it, as all racecourses always are. But no, I just thought there was a great atmosphere around the place, and they were helped by the weather. Like, the weather was a lovely day yesterday. I remember Guineas Day 2 years ago, when the temporary facilities were first in use. It lashed rain. It was Armageddon. It was like Armageddon the day that was in it. But yes, it was just a lovely day on the racetrack. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to point out, I was obviously watching from back at HQ while you were on course. I thought Ickworth was really taking what was a good day for Billy Lee. He lowered the colours of an odds-on poke for Aidan O'Brien, who elsewhere had a pretty good day. But I thought he quickened well, and I thought he was quite smart. And he's now 2 from 2. Where's he likely to go?
Yeah, Queen Mary is what they were talking about. So yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Like even when she won on her debut at Dundalk, she beat Moments Linger, and she beat Moments Linger by further yesterday. So that was a was a good performance. And as you said, King Neptune was well fancy going into the race. He was very strong in the market, and just it was as much the way she travelled as the way she quickened, because she travelled really well. She was travelling better than him from Flagfall, and then just picked up, and that pace. It's 5 furlong pace, and yeah, Queen Mary, brilliant. Why not have a go at it, because that's the ideal race for her now. And as you said, like Billy Lee had a really good day. He had 3 winners. He rode the first winner for Paddy Toomey, Sunday Sovereign, who like he was very impressive as well, and he raced on the near side, and that definitely wasn't a disadvantage. But he picked up well, and he ran in the maiden that Monarch of Egypt won, the American Pharaoh, first progeny to race to race in public. He ran well in that, and obviously improved from that, and beat a couple of or an Aidan O'Brien horse in Arizona. Aidan O'Brien had a non-runner as well, and well, Magical, of course, she was good. She wasn't outstanding. She didn't pull miles clear and put up a breathtaking performance, but she did all she needed to do in beating Flag of Honor and La Trobe again. The King, Jessica Harrington's horse, ran well as well. So like the 3 were finished. They finished quite close up. I think it's the Talas's Gold Cup now for her back at the Curragh on Irish Guineas weekend.
It wasn't as exciting as Happen, which was at no stage did I think that was going to happen.
no, like it's funny that Aidan O'Brien was saying afterwards that Alexandrova, her dam, used to do that as well. Kind of looked like she was in an unpromising position, which Happen really was in an unpromising position. But I don't like it was a great ride by Ryan Moore. I don't think he planned to just drop her on the line like that. I think that's the way the race was. She just like he wasn't easy on her early on. He was needling her along just to get her going, and then she was back in the field. She had to come to the outside, which is not easy to do at the Curragh, and she finished off really strongly. And yeah, no, it was a really good performance. And just to mention Shaleer as well, Dermot Wells colt. He was good in winning the Tetrarch Stakes. He won a division of a maiden at Navan. Both divisions actually are working out very well. So and he stepped forward from that. He stayed on really well. That's the Tetrarch. It can be an Irish 2000 Guineas pointer. Autad won it a couple of years ago before going on to win the Irish 2000 Guineas. So Dermot Weld was talking about maybe going on to the Irish Guineas after that. So yeah, the Irish Guineas already is shaping up to be a really interesting race.
Yeah, he really ground it out, didn't he? I thought he stayed really well. And that was a case, I don't know if it wasn't necessarily a case in all the races. The handicap, for example, over 6, you seem to want to be up there. But what we saw with Shaleer and what we saw with Happen was it sort of played to really get rolling down the outside and to come from off the pace.
Yeah, generally at the Curragh, I think while it's a big galloping track, I think it's a track at which you want to be up. You don't want to be too far off it, because they just get they get rolling, and on the round track they get rolling down the hill into the home straight, and you unless they've gone very fast, you rarely see horses coming from too far back at the Curragh. It's similar. I know I was saying this last week a lot of Punchestown. It's similar to Punchestown over jumps in a way. You kind of, even though Punchestown is a big galloping track, you don't want to be too far off the pace. Unlike Cheltenham, where you can come from a long way back, especially at the festival where they go fast. But yeah, I think horses who come from behind at the Curragh do well. I think they can generally, unless the pace has been very fast, they can generally be marked up a little bit. So I thought Happen and Shaleer did really well to win.
Have you got, before you've segued us nicely into Punchestown, Donn, but have you got one horse that you saw yesterday at the Curragh who particularly excited you going forward?
Yeah, Shaleer. I like Shaleer. I now have a short list of about 15 for the Irish 2000 Guineas. That's the only problem. I liked him at Navan. I liked him again yesterday, and he stepped forward. And as you said, he's got that really. He did the same at Navan. He only just got up. He's just got that willing attitude that I think that'll take him far.
Let's have a look at Punchestown then. We were both there. It was a brilliant week. First of all, from your journalist mind, what was it like with Ruby Walsh suddenly announcing that after he won the Punchestown Gold Cup on Ken Boy, that was going to be that? And just confirm for us, nobody knew.
Well, when Willie Mullins didn't know, nobody knew. Willie Mullins knows everything. Yeah, no, it was it's all been written and all been said. It was unbelievable. Like, to do it what he did, it's brilliant he did it the way he did it, that he was able to walk away on his own terms when he wanted, as his sister did last year, Katie, on the same day, or more or less the same day. And Nina Carberry did it last year as well at Punchestown. So it's becoming a bit of a Punchestown thing. But look, I don't know about you. I mean, you obviously know him well. I'll miss him riding. I'll miss him in the saddle. I'll miss seeing what Ruby Walsh is riding, and trying to figure that out, or even watching his artistry. Like he's just one of the best national hunt riders there's ever been, and yeah, it was always going to come. The time is going to come. It's come. We have to get used to no more Ruby Walsh in the saddle, as we had to get used to no more AP McCoy in the saddle. But yeah, we'll miss him riding, but we'll see plenty of him, won't we?
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. He's not going to go and become a trainer by the looks of things, is he? He's going to keep on and do a lot of the TV side, which he's been doing with Racing TV, and I'm sure there'll be other opportunities there as well. And I'm going to miss him desperately in the saddle, mainly. My sort of racing life ever since I was, I suppose, 12 or 13, where I really sort of started engaging in racing. He has been on TV riding, and that's really been the length of his career. So yes, I will miss him greatly, and also those punchy interviews we used to do together before Cheltenham, where he'd always have something to say. He's brilliant at that.
You might still do those.
I will still do those, exactly. Yeah, but he won't put me away when I ask him a stupid question about a horse. Actually, he'll probably still put me away. Yeah, but that was great. Ken Boy was. I mean, he showed us now at the last two festivals what he's capable of. I wasn't very positive about him going into Cheltenham personally, but goodness me, on three of his last four starts, he's been very good, hasn't he?
He has, and like I was with Albin Photo actually in the race. I thought Albin Photo would beat him. I thought Albin Photo was the better horse going into the race. But also during the race, he was keen, and he had definitely Red up on his outside, and I'm sure Ruby didn't want definitely Red up on his outside, probably making him do even more than Ruby wanted him to do. But again, it was another masterclass ride by Ruby Walsh, I thought, to conserve enough energy to go and beat Albin Photo when he was challenged. Because when they turned for home and Albin Photo came up on his outside, I was sure Albin Photo was going to beat him, given how the race had been run. And I know Albin Photo got one or two fences wrong throughout, but he was the one who made progress to join Ken Boy. Ken Boy, for me, had been doing a little bit too much through the race. And for him for Ruby to conserve enough, and for Ken Boy to find what he found and come away from Albin Photo, who's a Gold Cup winner. And it wasn't as if Albin Photo underperformed. They both pulled miles clear. So I just, like, Ken Boy for me definitely enhanced his reputation. He went up in my estimation anyway. I know he was favourite going into the race, but I thought Albin Photo would beat him, and I was surprised, especially how it was run, that Ken Boy was able to beat him. So I thought it was a fantastic performance by horse and rider.
And now Willie Mullins, who came into this year's Cheltenham Gold Cup never having won the race before, he's now got the top two in the betting, 7.4 Ken Boy, Albin Photo 8.8, these matchbook prices. And then I'm going to throw into the mix and segue into Delta Work, who is a fair bit bigger. Delta Work can currently be backed at 16.0. I mean, he was very good. Now, I know I put him up as a lay because I didn't think he jumped well enough, but he jumped really well on this occasion. And he, like a host of these good young novices, it seems that is exactly where he's going to be aimed. I was really taken with him. Maybe they went a yard slower, and that's why he jumped better than they had done in the RSA. But you couldn't crab that performance, could you?
No, like I'm annoyed about Delta Work because, as you know, we had him as a horse to follow at the start of the season. I was against him. Not that I was against him. I was with Absolute Heart on Tuesday, but no, he was great, and he had, like, we know he's a top class horse. Like we knew throughout the season, and as we discussed at the time, I thought people marked him down too much for his RSA Chase defeat, because if the race had been run a wee bit different, I just don't think he had the run of the race. Like, he made a mistake at the second last fence, and then he got squeezed out of it, and actually going to the line, he was keeping on again. And on top of the game, and Santini are obviously top class horses. The three of them are the three top class, very exciting novices to throw into the Gold Cup mix for next season. Now, please God. But no, he was very good at Punchestown, and he, even now though, I think he's still a bigger price than Santini on top of the game for the Gold Cup, and I don't think that's right.
Well, he's the outsider of them, and I suppose because he was beaten by them at Cheltenham, he has to be. But I think you'd also point out he was off the back of a big old absence at Cheltenham. He hadn't been seen since Christmas, had he?
Yeah.
So there may have been a little bit of rustiness there. I don't know. This is the first time I looked at Delta World and gone, yeah, I was pretty taken with that. But then, you've got, if I'm going to back any of them, it might be lost in translation. So there you go. That's where we're at. But this is what you want in a way for a Gold Cup market.
Absolutely,
so much excitement.
Absolutely. Like, there's no Kalastar best mate head and shoulders above everything. You've got Kemboy album photo topping the established, and they're only 7. Like, they're not old horses. And throw into them top of the game Santini, Delta Work, and Lost in Translation, who's now proven over 3 miles, as we suspected he would improve for stepping up to 3. No, it's brilliant at this point. We have a whole flat season to get through before we get there.
Exactly. Let's not exactly. This is still our Punchestown fallout, but it'll be flat from here on in. But we've got to mention the 2 mile hurdlers because the champion hurdle market took a shake up after Bouvidaire won the Punchestown champion hurdle. First time he's been to Ireland. He looked the horse of old. The way he travelled through the race, I think a strongly run 2 is exactly what he wants, and that is what he got. For all Apples, Jade was clearly below par, and she doesn't look the same. It happened again last spring. I don't know if there's anything in that. Maybe last time really took something out of it. She didn't travel through the race with the same zest we've seen in the past. For all, Cheltenham was a write-off when she had a virus. And we also got a shake-up with Classical Dream. So he's 6.8 now. Bouvidaire is a little bit bigger, 9.2. Classical Dream was really good, and they say they're going to go down the champion hurdle route. He is slick. He looks a proper champion hurdle horse, I think. For all that they were talking, Ruby had said he's got the scope for a fence, but I just love how he hurdles. But personally, if I was going to take one of those prices, I'd take Bouvidaire against him, because he's been there and he's danced that dance in a champion hurdle before. I know he'll be another year older, but I was really taken with him, and I love JP's admittance that even he backed him for Cheltenham this year, and he never got round.
Yeah, like, it was great to see Bouvidaire back, and it was great to see the English coming over and having winners. But yeah, I'd be worried, like, for Bouvidaire to win 2 champion hurdles, fall in one, and then come back and win another one at the age of 9. That would be some feat. That would be some performance, I think. And yeah, I think Classical Dream, he's the kid on the up, isn't he? Like, he's the Supreme Novice hurdle winner, and he was so impressed with winning the Supreme, having only just got home by a head or a short head from Araman in the Dublin Racing Festival race, the Chanel Farmer race. But again, he did it so well at Punchestown. And Felix Deji set a good pace, and Felix Deji is a good horse. I know he's only 5th in the Supreme Novices hurdle, but he didn't have the run of the race that day. He missed the break, and we know that he's at his best when he gets out in front and rolls. So, and he beat him easily. And he's a horse who's obviously progressed since he's joined Willie Mullins, and he's progressed with his last 3 races as well. So yeah, and he's only 5, so he's got a big future in front of him, all going well. And
Classical Dream answered any questions I had about Supreme winners. They do stay very well, and I questioned whether he'd have the speed for a champion hurdle, whether he'd have the speed for that smaller field race over the minimum at Punchestown. Well, he wrong was I. He answered all that. Last one we want to talk about is Chacun Pour Soi. For me, the most exciting winner of all the novices going forward, because he now has stamped his authority on that champion chase market. He's 7.0 for that. And if Altior doesn't turn up, goodness me, he's going to be a fair bit shorter as well. Their patience has paid off, Donn, with Chacun Pour Soi.
Yeah, like what he did in the Nace, in his beginner's chase at Nace, that was unbelievable. Like, he hadn't run in about 14 years. His jumping was superb. He didn't miss a beat. And Paul Townend rode that day. He just allowed him coast. He just went out in front and just went further and further clear so easily. And we just didn't know before Punchestown what he could do against high class opposition, and that was a top class race. You had the Arkle winner, the JLT winner, the Maggle Chase winner, the Ryanair Gold Cup winner from Ferryhouse as well, Pas de Rev, and he beat them well, and again jumped really well. And he was long at the second last, wasn't he? And Robbie Parr just going down to the last, just kind of thought, right, I'm just going to get over this. And in doing so, he allowed Defi Desoy to close up on him, and he had to pick up again, because he pricked his ears going to the last, he jumped it. And Defi Desoy, who we know stays further than 2 miles, he had a chance because he went in and was safe at the last. But then he picked up again in the run in, and superb ride by Robbie Parr again. But no, just a really, really exciting horse. And yeah, look, bring on the champion chase, I'd say.
Yeah, all the form lines time well. In particular, I think beating Defi Desoy, who looked like he wanted further, but that ties in with Lost in Translation, which in turn ties in with the top staying novices. So I think, all in all, that is rock solid form. And he was really, really exciting. So they've got another one to look forward to, but Ruby won't be partnering, and we know that much. Donn, thank you very much indeed. I can see the sun's come out over in Ireland, so you better get out and enjoy it.
We get sun here too, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I had a lovely couple of days at Punchestown.
Did you? Yeah, did you enjoy it?
I loved it. It was magic. I avoided the rain of the first day. I was delighted.
Yeah. The first day was bad. Although we were lucky, we were in the booth. Rishi was out. Rishi and Kevin arrived. They were out. So yeah, we stayed warm and dry.
Always nice looking on when people are getting wet outside. As I say, from here on in, it'll be flat action galore because we are now embracing that season's. Goodness me, we'll be talking about Irish Guineas and Derbies next, no doubt. But maybe we've got a bit of time before that. But Donn, thank you very much for joining me for this Match Bet Racing review. I'll chat to you again next week, sir.
Thanks, Tom.